Hello and welcome to this much shorter guide on how to get pebbles at the very start of the game. I have a much more detailed, helpful guide for beginners that follows along this same process, just in a lot more detail. However, this is just going to be an edited, cut down version for those that are a bit more experienced and just want to get pebbles as you're familiar with the game. And on this journey, we'll also cover how to buy and sell horses. So let's dive in on how to get pebbles with no money. As soon as you get free roam access, let's go. So in order to show you where to get all the various different horses, they'll all start from the same starting point within the game. And that's as soon as we get free roam, right after the cutscene where we've been detained and we're in a little bit of a tight spot. So starting straight after this cutscene and after I've just spoken to this NPC, this is where we're starting from. But what we'll be doing is following this main road down to Sameen. So going on foot, we've set our flag up. So now we know the rough general location. So we can keep to the main path just to keep it simple. And so we get our bearings correct, but we're just going to be walking through the main center of town. So just opening the map to give you some good bearings. So here we are. So we're going to run down to this area here and hook a right as we're aiming for this area down here. So we'll just fast forward a little bit just so you can see where we have to turn off. I would aim to ignore any kind of distractions, but it's really up to you how you go about it. So opening the map, here we are at our first crossroad. We just want to make sure we go to the right here. So when you see this thing, we are heading to the right. And we can already see where we need to go right there. That's the location. So we're just going to go ahead and run to this area. We can see the keep ahead of us. If you're on foot, you can just go straight through the keep. Now we should have no worries doing that even though we've nicked this horse. So we'll just ride through here. So we've discovered Sameen. So just to recap, we've gone from Troskowitz. We've taken the main path and we've followed it all the way down to Sameen to this keep right here. And you can see there's some nice pictures of some horses here indicating this is where we're going to find the legendary Pebbles, and there the beauty is. So here's Pebbles in all her glory. This will be our first horse we're going to steal, and I'll show you how we're going to pull this off. But before we set this up, we need a rough bearing of where we need to go. So we're going to open our map. We're going to see Sameen, and there's a very good chance that you will already have these icons already on your map. So we have go and seek Tomcat, and we have go and find Mutt. So I'm fairly sure these will both be visible to you. So the first stop for us is going to be making it to this area here. And the reason we're going to be going to this area here is, one, this is where we're going to find the horse trader. We can avoid a lot of danger by going a little bit longer the way around. So for us, before we jump on Pebbles, let's just set our marker at this crossroad here. But zooming into the map, we can see we're going to jump the fence and we're going to run past this house here up onto this path, and we're just going to follow that along. So here we are, we're on Pebbles. Do note, if you have your tutorials on, they will pop up straight away when you jump on your first horse. But so we've alerted the guy and we need to get out of here quick. So we're going to press jump to get over that fence. That was a terrible jump. And we're going to head to this house just as we mentioned in the planning and preparations. You can take shortcuts if you want, but just for the purpose of this, we'll just try keep it simple, going past this house, and we're looking for the main road, which we will come to right here. So this is the main road, or a path I should say. We're just going to open the map as I may have strayed off a little bit. No, we're on the exact same path. Excellent. So we're going to just try follow this all the way now to the marker. So following this along, we'll just sort of speed it up a bit too, just so you don't have to get completely bored, but it's just good to take note of all the little bits and pieces around. And we're just going to close the tutorial so that's not so distracting, as you can go through that and read that in your own time. But we are sort of following this path along. As you can see, there are two very close to each other. So either of those, but heading to this fork in the road and then further up as mentioned. So let's keep riding and we're just going to belt across. There's not too many landmarks, so the path is a good way to just know where you're going and that you're in the right direction. So we do have to keep in mind not to try to get knocked off the horse by pushing them too hard. And here we are at the first turn off. So we've hooked sort of a right and we're just going down into this valley. There is some chances you will come across some bandits or other potential NPCs or enemies. Just avoid them by running past them. But generally, this is safer. There shouldn't be too many issues coming through this way, not from my testing. So it should be pretty straightforward, and it will only take a moment before we reach this camp. So this is the No Man camp, and we've arrived just at our cross section. Now we're looking for the guy who sells horses. So if we want to find the horse trader, he is going to be located just on this side of the camp, and this is what he looks like right here. So depending on the time of when you're doing this, you will find him at different locations within the camp. So we're going to talk to this trader, and this is where we get introduced into the horse black market. Quite a bit of dialogue here, so you can go through that. And this is where we'll have the option to sell or acquire. If we wanted to sell Pebbles, he will offer 80. So in this instance, we get 80% of the value. However, do note, the more value a horse has, the less you'll get when you go to sell them. So the percentage will drop. If you have a horse that is valued at 1,600, you'd sell it for roughly 600, which is roughly 37% value. Just a very quick example. And this will depend on a few different factors like perks, but we won't worry about that. And if we want to acquire her, it's going to cost us 120. We only have 5 grocery, so we need to address that right now. And we're going to go this way. We're going to walk down from the camp where the 2 horses are, and we just talked to the horse trader. I'm going to go through this little tight cliff here. The reason we're going this way is because we get to avoid possible dangers like wild dogs and other issues. We're going to pass through this camp here, and we're just going to keep trolling through. And once we get to the riverbank, this is where we're going to open our map, and we can see that we've passed down this camp here and we're at the water edge. We need to set our next target, which is going to be over here. So we're going to run all the way along the edge of the water to get to this location. And we're going this way to avoid wild dogs and other dangers. And this is where we're going to get all the coin we need to buy our first horse. But in the end, we will just be running through all this vegetation. You'll get to the tree. You'll want to jump over the tree. And that's when you'll know you're very close to our destination to get the coin to purchase a horse. And here we are. So going to open the map right on our point. But you'll also note that this area is called the Water Goblin's Treasure. There'll be a little marker or indication so we know we're in the right place. So just to give you a very clear indication, this is where we are in terms of the whole map in case you want to do this a bit differently, but here we are. But this is the spot. Jump off the horse, and pretty much looking at this big tree here, you'll see some vines. I'm going to go all the way down to this pot here and open it. I'm going to find 125 groschen. So we're going to take that, and that is the money we need to purchase Pebbles. So we picked up the groschen, and now we're going to head right back to the way we came so we can set up a marker just to make it a bit easier so we do not get lost, and we will be able to find the horse handler. And it can be a little bit finicky to get the horse black market. So if you don't see it straight, move your horse around, talk to him, and you should be able to get it. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 goes just to get that black market to pop up. And it's just related to where your horse position is. So here we want to acquire and we want to keep. So we'll go through the dialogue, and we have 130 thanks to that coin we just picked up. So we'll be able to pay this price of 120 and get our first horse being Pebbles, the legendary Pebbles, at the very, very start of the game. So going through this, there'll be some dialogue. And you'll also note that the horse trader is going to throw in the old saddle and some gear, so you'll be able to use her straight away. And after that, we can now whistle, call her over. We just need to put the gear on, so we can go into inventory, scroll down, and we've been given a bridle and a saddle. So we're going to press X on both of these to drop them into the horse inventory, which you can now click onto the horse and see it's listed here. Then from the horse inventory, we can click on the item, hit E for equip, and then E again on the saddle, and bing, bada boom, we have our first horse and saddle being Pebbles. And look at the carry capacity. So the saddle comes with 158. We currently have 126, so it's given us a massive increase on carry capacity. This is such a potent thing to do at the start because it's just going to allow you to loot so much more and get around faster. And that concludes the tutorial of getting Pebbles, the greatest horse, at the very start of the game. Hope this was helpful. If you got anything out of it, consider liking and subscribing. Goes a really long way, and have a lot of fun out there. Until next time, peace.